feel when I say the word rejection? Do you feel sad or angry? Does it immediately bring to mind something that's happened in your own life? Well, today I'm going to talk about how I have dealt with rejection, which has been a major struggle in my life, and share some ideas to help you if you're also dealing with rejection. We all have wounds in our life, and these wounds can be things that happened when we were kids, teenagers, or in our adult years. For me, that wound is rejection, and it has continued to be reopened throughout my life and has caused me a lot of pain and hurt. Rejection in my life stems all the way back to the relationship I had when I had my accident. He stuck around for quite a while, and I know that he really loved me, but when it ended, I was very hurt and I felt rejected. And because of that, I spent many years avoiding dating because I was afraid of getting back into a relationship and being rejected again. And then, when I did open my heart, that's exactly what happened. The next person told me that I was lucky to have him and that no other man would want me. Ouch! How horrible is that? That experience really amplified my feelings of rejection and added salt to an already huge wound that I didn't even realize was still there. And I am so grateful to my friends and my sister who assured me that what he said was not true. But it took time to build myself back up so that rejection would not be something that held me back from living my best life. And so when Doug and I met, I was in a very good place in my life. And today I'm married to Doug, and I could not be happier. I have no ill feelings towards those two men, and I'm glad things worked out the way that they did, because I would not have met Doug. But I still experience rejection in my life. When we get turned down for a speaking engagement, or when a caregiver has to move on to something else, I tend to feel rejected. And sometimes it reopens that old wound. And that's why I see a counselor throughout the year. She has helped me immensely to learn to accept that rejection is a part of life. We say no to things every day. Some rejections don't hurt. Like if you decide not to have dessert after dinner, your server doesn't fall on the floor crying because you rejected them. But some rejections cut very deeply. Like when someone says no, or that they no longer want to be in relationship with you. My counselors helped me work on coping mechanisms so that I don't let those feelings of rejection affect me as much. For example, when someone decides not to be a part of my life anymore, in the past I would have felt sad and see it immediately as rejection. I would feel like they don't want me or that they don't love me. But my counselor has helped me see a new perspective. Someone else is meant to be in my life instead. That I need to bless that person and believe that someone else is going to come into my life. And I have to trust that I will always be provided for because that's always happened. I just have to believe that it's all going to work out. So if rejection is your wound and someone rejects you, I want you to know that you will get through this. But it will take work. And if I didn't do the work to heal the wounds that I experienced earlier in my life, I would have never opened myself back up to a relationship with Doug. I would have missed out on my soulmate. So please keep pressing through. And if your wound is something like fear or worry or distrust, you can overcome it. I also want to encourage you that probably the best way to work through this is to see a counselor. I tried working through this by myself. I tried talking to Doug and to friends. And while they were very supportive and helpful, I did not see breakthrough until I saw a counselor. It's just really helpful when you have someone from the outside looking in who can provide a different perspective. So find someone that can give you an outside perspective and some coping strategies for your wound. I also have found great strength in quotes and inspirational books. The truth is that we all have these wounds and these negative thoughts that fill our minds. The only way to overcome them is to put a stop sign up in our brains and to have a battle plan. Realize that when that thought filters through, we do not have to agree with it. And I've challenged myself in these past months Whenever that familiar wound of rejection comes knocking on my door, I put my hand up and say, no, that's not true. Now for me, that negative thought has been, I'm a burden to others and I have no worth. And to overcome these thoughts, I replace that negative thought with the truth. And the truth is this: I am valuable, I have worth, and I am loved. And so are you. Let me say this to you. You are valuable, you have worth, and you are loved. And I encourage you to change the narrative of your thoughts. And you do this by thinking about the truth more than you think about the false narrative. So write this on Post-it notes. Say it out loud. Say it to yourself as often as you have these negative thoughts. Rejection and other wounds that have happened in our lives are exactly that. They're wounds, and they can be healed. When you have an external wound, like a cut or a blister, you take the time to care for it. You put a bandage on it, you clean it, because if you don't, infection and worse things can happen. We have to do the same with internal wounds, because just like the external wound, if we don't take care of it, the infection will spread and will cause things like unhealthy relationships, substance abuse, depression, and other things can follow. So it's worth it to take the time to heal these wounds. Let's learn the truth and be free from the pain of these wounds. And even set a reminder to watch this video once a week to help you get through rejection. Do what it takes to be free from the pain and this wound. Let's spend the best parts of our lives focusing on the positives and what is true. And this is true. Remember that you have value and worth. Again, you are valuable. You have worth and you are loved. Thank you for tuning in today, and I hope that this has helped you.